Does it mean that if we haven't lived on it?
I mean, the statement was it's here where you meet Zambia, the geopolitical space called Zambia. I don't think there are many places where you can go to in Zambia and meet Zambia. You meet the people that stay there. Right?
Yes.
So if you go to my land in Namwanga land there in Isoka in Nakonde, you meet the Namwangas there. You see what I mean? So you don't go and meet Zambia there. You go to meet the Namwangas there. Whether you go to the east or west or wherever, you go and meet the people who are there. But if you want to see a place where no one is anything else except what you find there, that's the Copper Belt. Maybe Lusaka to some extent, but you guys have got your own vibe.
Okay.
You guys have got your own vibe.
And last time I checked, I was told the best football club is also from there.
So the biggest clubs. She said yes because she's a Nkana supporter. I'm a traitor. My brother always tells me I'm a traitor. You grew up in Kitwe. How come you don't support Nkana or Power Dynamos? I'm a Zanaco fan. But she's a Nkana fan, my wife. And we just beat them, so I'm so excited. But all in all, some of the best footballers come from there. Some of the best singers come from there. Some of the best cultural people come from there. So it's really a place where if you were to interact with anyone from the Copper Belt, there's just some sort of raw energy that represents us all better. Yeah, I think that's my opinion, and I think I'm entitled to my opinion.
That's the conversation on the epilogue. Chapter 1 has got the title, The Rejection. And interestingly, I'll try not to read the Namwanga proverb. At least I don't pronounce words correctly.
We've got Namwangas in the house. Let them help us.
Who can?
You can ask the royal prince himself. You can. So
Okay.
we have Namwanga royalty in the house, so I have to respect it.
Read the proverb for us. Chapter 1, The Rejection. And the
All right.
The translation of that Namwanga proverb is, a spider does not boast about catching flying termites. They come out by themselves.
Yes. There's.
What?
It's also in Bemba, by the way, and it sounds very similar to the Bemba one, the one I know how to pronounce. So what from this many translations can come out of this, but the meaning that I chose after doing a bit of research is opportunities lies in two spaces. There's a person who's actually positioned to actually benefit from the opportunities given to them, right? Like the spider, right? They didn't work for certain things. All they did is just cast the web, and the inswa, flying termites, are caught in its web, and that's food for them. But that's not the same with the inswa itself. It comes out to live its life, but only to be caught up in a spider's web. So you can look at it in a dichotomy. So in this particular chapter, I open you up with this particular thought so that you see what will happen next to the protagonist. And it's up to you to decide whether he is the spider or he is the flying termite. Yeah.
I would have loved to, if you can read for us, just the as you've put it there.
All right, let me read.
We would like to give people an opportunity to a trailer of some sort.
Okay, let me go ahead. Yeah, the proverb reflects the unpredictability of life.
Okay.
It suggests that some things happen to us without planning or control. Whether they bring good or bad depends on where we stand. For the spider, the flying termites coming out means food and survival. It's a blessing that requires no effort beyond being ready. But for the termites, it means death, as they unknowingly fly into the web. Life, in this sense, is full of moments that unfold unexpectedly, and what may seem like fortune to one may spell misfortune to another. This proverb invites us to reflect on how life can bring both opportunities and challenges, often without warning, and how we must navigate them based on the role we find ourselves in.
Beautiful. So when we had a conversation yesterday, I really did stretch my understanding of this in my way. Listening to Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power, Mastery, and Concise Laws of Nature, he talks about how, as humans, we need to learn to be grateful. Just like the spider, can't boast. We need to learn to be grateful for our blessings, our privileges, our advantages that are natural. For example, a very short person, I'm short. If I was in America, I would want to be an NBA star. But my height will fight my dream, because we know that height comes with the advantage of being a star in that space. Then there are certain people that probably they're a TV presenter. They are this enormous news anchor, and certain things worked in their favor, like they had a good voice. They didn't work for it. Or they had, so there are certain things of that nature that come into our space. And what do? We have to be grateful for them. But when we become grateful for them, we also learn to sympathize with people that may not have that natural advantage, and not see ourselves to be special, but simply blessed. That's how I think I did interpret it. Chapter 2, it's got another saying, which is quite interesting. And I think I'll ask you to read the translation quickly.
Okay, it's another Namwanga saying, but it's a very touching one. Even though a child may come from a good home, they will still speak. Sorry, I heard something big. All right, umwana asisundwa. Continue for me. There's royalty in the house, so I don't want to botch this language.
Umwana asisundwa na wakwasivye. Lelo nawanjinye mukaya. Umwana asisundwa na wakwasivye. Lelo nawanjinye mukaya.
Even though a child may come from a good home, they will still pick up habits and practices from the community around them.
I find this to be very powerful. You can read, even though a child may come from a good home, they will still pick up habits and practices from the community around them. What, as an author, what key message do you have for us, the readers, when you coined that, when you picked on that saying?
Well, it was an introduction to chapter. Let me just read what I wrote before I botch its meaning with my rambling. The proverb speaks to the unavoidable influence of society on a child's development. No matter how well raised or morally grounded a child is at home, they are not immune to the habits and behaviors of those they encounter in the wider community. It reminds us that character is shaped not just by family, but by the environment in which one grows. The proverb emphasizes the responsibility of the broader society in molding the younger generation, as the values and practices they encounter beyond the home can leave a lasting impact, either uplifting or corrupting them. So chapter 2 really kind of starts painting a picture of this land that we call Zambia, and the style of writing that I used was asking a simple question. Where were you when you first heard that Mwanawasa passed away? Where were you when this happened politically in Zambia? Where were you when this, and if you had an opportunity to live in this country in the late 80s, early 90s, I think Kalumbo, you will remember these things because you lived in that time. They did shape us in a certain way. There's so much trauma that happened to us Zambians living in that time that can't be ignored. Let's pick, for example, HIV. We all lost someone in the 90s. Isn't that correct, Mr. Lunga? We all lost someone. Where did we go for counseling? Grief counseling. Economically, how many people do we know who lost jobs in that era? And the consequent depression that we witnessed and lived through, you know what I mean? As a country, as a people, who was sitting down there soothing us of that pain? So these are the questions that I ask myself. And remember, this book is about a man's mind, right? A man's heart. And I'm asking and saying, if you grew up in that era and you were, and as a child, for example, whether your home was good, but your environment had all this pain, it shaped you. It either numbed you, it either made you less empathetic, or it made you more empathetic or not. But we start asking these questions about the man-child, and in this case, this is the focus of the book. How did the man-child grow up through these times, turbulent times, and get out of it? Are those scars too on him? And you can see even from the cover, the scars are all over his face, right? Even on his body, and you can imagine it should be his whole body. How did this man that now we are calling corrupt, womanizer, drunkard, they came from somewhere. There was a factory that produced that man. And so I paint that picture with this proverb to say, what would happen if we were to recreate that circumstance? Would we be surprised now that we have men the way we have the men that we have around us now, right? And what should be done to correct the situation? I start asking those questions, right? And I'm hoping as the listeners, the audience, you start asking certain questions about the men around you, your brothers, your uncles, your husbands, your lovers, wherever they are. Start asking yourself, what did these guys go through to be where they are now in their early 40s, right? It's too quiet. What's happening? Have I touched any of the... Yeah. So I think that's what that proverb is opening up. But you get to read, for those who didn't go through that era or were too young to remember it, you get to see what was happening. If you were here in 1919 in Lusaka, you know what was happening.